The weekend of July 4th, and as the US celebrated Independence Day, it was business as usual in Major League Soccer, with eye-catching matchups both on and off the pitch. We begin our review in the East, and a momentous occasion for the champions, the opening of Lower.com Field.
After a memorable send-off for historic Crew Stadium,
Zardes bangs it in! A cross for Jesse Zardes! The perfect ending.
a new home for Columbus, but also some dangerous first visitors.
Gustavo Bo stabs it in! The Reds run away with it!
Calling the action from Lower.com Field are Adam Virgo and Phil Blacker.
A real sense of occasion ahead of kick-off, Adam, and hopefully now quite some contest in store to follow. And the Crew looking to launch the first attack of the game. Luis Diaz with a sight of goal. It was very nearly the perfect start in their new home.
Well, it really was a magnificent start there. Diaz on the right-hand side, using the width really, really well. Just maybe chose the wrong angle to go towards goal.
McNamara working with Dewan Jones, who'd continued his run. Taking on Harrison Affle. Can't prevent the cross from coming in. And there it is. Tajon Buchanan on the end of it. And the first goal at Columbus's new home is a revolution goal.
And it's really, really good play from Jones down that left-hand side and rises brilliantly. And Buchanan's at the far post, unmarked, free header. But it's all about the assist there from the fullback. Beats that full really, really well, and it's a free header.
Bit of space here for the Revs, and for Tajon Buchanan, plenty to try and pick out in the middle. Gustavo Bo's got his foot to it, and the Revs have doubled their lead, and they are gate-crashing the party on New England in Columbus today.
Well, it's brilliant play from Buchanan down the right-hand side. Gustavo Bo hasn't really been mentioned, but a predator with a tidy finish.
Ball goes long. Centre-back making a third straight start. In towards Zardes, he's able to turn and scores! And gets the Crew right back in the game. Well, the man who scored the final two goals at their old home has the first in Crew colours here. And it might just change matters.
Have to say there's an excellent, excellent centre-forward finish. And it's a wonderful goal to cap the first one in this stadium for the Columbus group.
Zardes the target here, it took a touch off Farrell, it's a desperate chase to get back, and he can't get back, and it's bundled into the back of the net somehow. Unorthodox, but it's effective, and the Crew have battled back to level it here.
Well, it's just an absolute calamity from Andrew Farrell there, because you turn your back on the ball, it hits you on your back, and all of a sudden you don't know where you are and where the ball is going to go. And Zardes does so well because he just follows in and doesn't give up on it.
We'll have to sort out exactly who is credited with the unfortunate own goal. And there for the second time today, there's the new trademark celebration. The return of the hard hats goal celebration is a nod to the three construction workers featured on the original Columbus crest. Santos with time to bring it down. Zardes has done well to get away from Farrell. Turner couldn't hold it, but is quickly onto the loose ball. Unable to breathe a big sigh of relief as tempers begin to boil over. So much at stake.
They're just dropping off and allowing this time and space for the Crew to utilise, and uses his pace and power really, really well. Just a challenge there they're not happy about.
Mensah prompted into the path of Nagby. It goes again towards Zardes. Maton, a brilliant block on the line. Still the threat. Harrison Affle's effort. And it's flashed over the top in the end. Well, it was all going on. And I think the major moment in there was the clearance off the line from Farrell.
They cannot believe they've not found themselves a winner.
Full time in Ohio, the Columbus Crew 2, the New England Revolution 2.
Just to be able to play in front of a crowd like that and come back, you know, from being down by 2 goals, it shows a lot, but it was a great way to open up the stadium. Although we didn't get the win, we played a fantastic game.
Next to Audi Field in a match that would provide a tipping point for struggling Toronto FC as hosts DC United raced out of the blocks.
A chance for Paredes, it's in the net! Oh, it's in the net! There it is! There it is!
A first MLS goal for 18-year-old homegrown Kevin Paredes was soon followed by another for Nigel Robertha. DC 2 up inside 8 minutes, with Toronto staring at a 6th straight defeat, when with just 21 gone, Russell Canals saw his shot pinball in off the luckless Ralph Priso Mbong. Each of the last 4 regular season meetings between these sides had ended in draws. There was a glimmer of hope for Chris Armas heading into half-time, when Michael Bradley crossed for Ayo Akinola to score. In fact, 3-1 was how it stayed for much of the second half, but when Andy Nahar sent Paul Areola through to score, the game was up for TFC and their coach, with a record-breaking capitulation to follow. Not aided by Eric Zavaletta's dismissal, the defender had only been booked 3 minutes earlier when his foul on Areola earned him a second yellow. Substitute Ola Kamara was next to take advantage as he stayed onside to burst clear of Toronto's depleted defence to score his 5th in 8 games. BC lost 5 of their first 7 matches, but recent performances have certainly indicated their playoff potential.
Ariel will make the cross aside, it's in the net! How about a 6-pack?
Or how about 7? After Yamil Assad's goal, a hat-trick of substitute scorers completed Toronto's biggest ever MLS defeat and DC United's biggest win. 18-year-old Griffin Yowell's goal meant for the first time in regular season history, there were 7 different scorers in a game. Only 1 goal short of equaling the biggest ever win in MLS, but it was still a goal that would spell the end of Chris Armas's reign as coach, less than 6 months after he replaced Greg Vanney.
Level on points with DC going into the weekend with the New York Red Bulls, who travelled to second-placed Orlando City. Venezuelan winger Christian Cáceres was back for the visitors after his spell at the Copa America. It took him less than 6 minutes to make his mark, scoring against Orlando as he had on his last appearance for the Red Bulls. The hosts were on a 3-game winning run, and shortly before half-time they were handed a chance when the referee spotted a shove by the Red Bulls defender Tom Edwards on Mauricio Pereira. The protest proved in vain, but the delay and clamour around the penalty may have got to the Uruguayan playmaker.
Save! Coronel guesses right and parries away Pereira's penalty.
Orlando did recover to find their equaliser as the hour approached, Daryl Dike robbing Sean Nealis, while Pereira picked up an assist. Chris Mueller's emphatic finish gave him his 2nd goal in as many games. The Red Bulls had taken only a point on the road so far, but secured their first away win of the year when Patrick Klimala recorded his 2nd assist of the game for strike partner Fabio. A 2nd goal in MLS for the Brazilian, only a 2nd defeat of the season for Orlando and a 1st at home, both inflicted by these same opponents.
With the Red Bulls on the road, CF Montreal made Red Bull Arena their temporary home for the visit of Inter Miami, their previous landlords, and a good time to play them too, with Phil Neville's side struggling to match expectations this season. Georgi Mihailovic and Romel Kyoto both came close to putting Montreal ahead. And having lost their last 4 in a row, Inter Miami were caught out just before half-time.
Mihailovic got space here. Chouanier 3 inside the area, finds the corner himself. Wonderful strike. What a hit that is.
His first MLS goal. Montreal had already beaten Inter Miami in May, 2-0 in Florida that day. Kyoto was a fraction away from making it the same score again. Unacceptable was Neville's verdict, not helped by fitness issues with some key players. Gonzalo Higuain did come off the bench at half-time and came closest to levelling. Despite their ever-changing surroundings, Wilfried Nancy's side are nicely placed in the playoff hunt.
Jim Curtin and the Philadelphia Union didn't play Gary Smith's Nashville last year due to the way the competition was scheduled after COVID-19. But the first ever game between these two didn't take long to spark. CJ Sapong firing Nashville ahead against one of his old clubs just 70 seconds in. He might have had a second too half an hour later, but he couldn't quite turn in Walker Zimmerman's header at the far post. The Union had equalled the longest unbeaten run in club history, but that 8-game streak ended here for last season's Supporters' Shield winners. The 5 changes Curtin made after last week's 3-3 draw with the Chicago Fire didn't pay off. Sergio Santos denied by Joe Willis as they lost for the first time in 2 months. Nashville climbed up to 4th in the East.
The Chicago Fire were winless in 4 and Atlanta United without a win in 5, but this was a one-sided affair thanks in no small part to one man. Ignacio Aliseda may have had the help of a deflection to beat Brad Guzan, but in one first-half spell, the 21-year-old Argentine may well have ignited the Fire's season. When he wasn't scoring, he was helping to create. His run creating space for Robert Berich to set up Przemysław Frankowski. Guzan kept Atlanta in it. But in the 6th minute of first-half stoppage time, Aliseda was at it again.
Look at the anticipation by Navarro. Aliseda again. Navarro's continuing his run. He doesn't need him! Ignacio Aliseda is taking over this game!
Aliseda struggled last year with just 1 goal, but he added an assist to his 2 efforts for 2021 in the second half.
Frankowski to make it 3! Scintillating football by the Chicago Fire!
A welcome second win of the season. To the Western Conference now, where second played third. The LA Galaxy's ambitions of jumping above their visitors Sporting Kansas City were dealt a blow, though, as they lost top scorer Chicharito to a calf injury just minutes before kick-off. Jonathan Beck watched this one.
Here's Leggett weighing up his options. Grandsir is still out there. Only really Vasquez to aim for in the centre, but he's almost found him perfectly. Ilie, the defender, putting just enough pressure on the Galaxy captain. The 2 former Barcelona players cancelling each other out. What was really the first big chance of the game. Leggett again. Vasquez. He's hit that one early for Cabral! That looks certain to be his first MLS goal. Just the wrong side of the upright, ghosting between the 2 defenders, and that is very close. Zubac. It has been a dominant first-half display so far by the Galaxy. Leggett has been at the heart of it. He's found Vasquez, and they've let him shoot here, following up his Grandsir, and Melia does just enough with both. He got lucky with the follow-up, but he's keeping SKC in the game. Grandsir. Araujo. Grandsir's carried on, and now he is in here. Melia away, and here's Leggett. Away by Zusi this time. They are knocking on the door again, and SKC have not yet got it properly clear. Here's Araujo. This time it's over. They really have picked up where they left off in the first half, but once again they're doing everything but score, mainly thanks to Tim Melia here. Vasquez, he's plenty short, across to Araujo. They'll toss it in from the right instead. Cabral battling it, comes out to Leggett, and it's deflected this time. It's Ilie. The SKC goal is leading a charmed life, and the ball seemingly just will not go in for the Galaxy. Busio over the ball, there's the flick, the save, and how did that stay out? Espinosa at the near post, it's Fontas at the far one, who heads against the post. A huge let-off. Bond is looking to play out through Saldana. Under a bit of pressure, that was a risky ball. Hernandez has taken it away, this is Russell! Johnny Russell at the second attempt. After all the pressure, it's Sporting Kansas City who are coming good in the final 10. And it's Johnny Russell with a first goal of the season. The jet to Dunbar. He stayed on side here. Cross has not reached anyone particular. Stabbed away towards Kyrie Shelton. The only man in SKC colours not defending. And a real counter on here. He's away from Klestian. He's soul bombed. And that is the icing on the cake. It's first of the year. A completely one-sided game for much of it. But when the Galaxy had no cutting edge, SKC have been ruthless just when it mattered.
Obviously, it's always nice to be on the top, not the bottom, right? So that helps immensely. It helps immensely going on the break with a win. But, you know, obviously, nothing's been accomplished yet. We got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of games ahead of us.
The Western Conference leaders heading into the weekend, the Seattle Sounders could equal the all-time MLS record of 12 games unbeaten at the start of the season if they avoided defeat to the Colorado Rapids. Informed Raul Ruidiaz was so close to making it 10 goals for the season already. But the Sounders' best start to a season in their history is by no means a one-man show. Alex Roldan's persistence is proof of that, forcing the mistake which led to his first goal in MLS. But the Rapids are having a good season too. Fourth in the standings, and with the backing of their first capacity crowd since the pandemic, they were level when Michael Barrios kept alive Sam Vine's cross. Often the one who creates goals, the Colombian went alone to score his third of the season. Not content to settle for a draw against a side 9 points behind them, but with 2 games in hand, Alex's older brother Christian Roldan almost restored Seattle's lead. But with some key players out injured, a point would still represent a good result for the Sounders. They almost left with nothing though, and Diego Rubio unselfishly played in Barrios for a second. This time, he was off target. The Sounders drop to second, but they stay unbeaten.
Adrian Heath said he wasn't worried by Minnesota United's recent lack of goals as they hosted Matias Almeida and the San Jose Earthquakes. The Loons had scored 9 in 2 games against the Quakes last season, but they were the ones falling behind when Cade Cowell pounced for the second game in a row. Bakay Dibasi caught out by Christian Espinosa in the build-up. Brent Coleman's goal record doesn't quite compare with Cal, but his finish in first-half stoppage time was an impressive equaliser nonetheless. A first goal since October 2017 for the Minnesota defender after an acrobatic assist from Franco Fragapane. After managing just 7 goals in the last 6 games, the home side very nearly hit 2 in 7 minutes. Instead, this neat build-up saw Fragapane, the impressive Argentine, denied the third of his brief MLS career so far by the post. Remaining in control, Minnesota did edge ahead for the first time after being awarded a penalty. The referee initially waved Chase Gasper up here after he was dumped down by Judson, the Quakes defender. But after video review, the spot kick was given. And that allowed half-time substitute Ramon Abela to score at the second attempt. No reward for Quakes keeper JT Marcinkowski. But his side did get their reward with 9 minutes to go, as 21-year-old Benji Kikanovic danced his way through to earn the visitors a point with his first MLS goal. A big moment for the substitute, making just his 4th senior appearance, although their winless run now stands at 8 matches.
A Thursday night encounter at a Q2 stadium that had yet to see a goal since Austin FC moved in. Successive 0-0 draws have made for a low-key start to life at their new home, but how they made up for it against the Portland Timbers.
John Gallagher! Austin FC's first goal at Q2 Stadium!
The Irishman writing his name in the Austin history books, and just 5 minutes later, they had a second. Diego Fagundes had been moved from midfield to the left wing, a masterstroke by Josh Wolf as he celebrated his newfound freedom with his first goal since early May. The Timbers came from 2 goals down to draw at the Houston Dynamo 8 days earlier, with Jeremy Obobisi scoring a stoppage time equaliser. 7 minutes into first half added time, he scored again. But this was a surprisingly dominant performance from the Texans, who failed to win in 8, close to 70% possession and a host of chances created. Fagundes' effort was parried to Hector Jimenez, who pummeled the crossbar. Thomas Pochettino then took the ball from inside his own half, but was denied a wonder goal by the Timbers veteran keeper, Steve Clark. Wolf wants to bring in a new striker when the transfer window opens this week, although his current group maybe eased the urgency for an impulse purchase with this performance. A set-piece goal for captain Alex Ring saw the lights go out on Portland's chances of a comeback and sent the Austin crowd into the weekend in celebratory mood, but not before Jimenez ended his 26-month wait for a goal.
Jared Stroud now has options. Stroud into the middle. How about Jimenez?
A famous night for Austin and a belated housewarming party.
Staying in Texas, and a cross-conference clash between the Houston Dynamo and Cincinnati saw plenty of early action with 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. A rocket from Tyler Pasha kicked things off with a little over 2 minutes on the clock. Keeping hold of that lead proved tricky though, and when Jeff Cameron's long ball was allowed to run all the way through, Alvaro Barreal took full advantage. A cool finish from the Argentine for his 3rd of the year, although the rest of the game didn't quite live up to these lofty standards. Luciano Acosta's far post header was as close as either side came to snatching the win, meaning a 4th straight draw for the Dynamo, Cincinnati concluding a run of 3 straight away games after wins at the Chicago Fire and Toronto.
Freddy Juarez had guided Real Salt Lake to within a point of the playoff line, but their opponents LAFC were only a point behind them. The coach is still under pressure, having only won 1 of their last 7. Carlos Vela's free kick almost put Bob Bradley's side ahead. Albert Rusnak has been the creator of most things good in recent games for RSL, and his cross couldn't have been better for Michael Chang. He shot straight at Thomas Romero. Moments after that opportunity, Bradley made what proved to be an inspired substitution. Jose Cifuentes had only been on the pitch for all of 2 minutes when LAFC carved open the RSL defence with a wonderful team goal. Vela's back heel, Eddie Segura's cutback, and the Ecuadorian did the move justice with an emphatic finish. And this really was a team effort. Almost straight from the restart, Rubio Rabin went through. A combination of Romero and Segura spectacularly kept Real Salt Lake out on the line as LAFC moved above their opponents in the table for now.
To our final game between the bottom 2 in the West, both Dallas and Vancouver looking to build on positive results last time out. But Vancouver keeper Maxime Crepeau twice denied Ricardo Pepi the chance to pick up where he'd left off, after scoring both in Dallas's 2-1 win over the New England Revolution. With 3 goals in his last 3 games, the 18-year-old wouldn't be denied for long, and he popped up again in the 22nd minute.
Cross is whipped in. Oh, it's headed in! It's Ferreira and Pepe linking up again!
Lucas Cavallini had also found the net in the Whitecaps' last game, as they held the Seattle Sounders to a 2-2 draw. A mistake by Bressan saw him score again here and show real composure to do it. And by half-time, they turned the game around. Australian defender Andy Rose powering this header in stoppage time to set up the prospect of a first away win. Crepeau did his bit to move them closer to that target with an excellent display. This reaction stop from Ryan Hollingshead was particularly impressive from the Canadian international. He also dealt ably with Brian Acosta's free kick, as Dallas dominated the early stages of the second period. They had to wait until very late to pick up a point though. Vancouver denied a confidence-boosting win by one of their own. Defender Ranko Veselinovic had only just come on when he headed this into his own net. An uncomfortable moment for the Serbian, who'd been sent on to try and protect the lead. Instead, his side missed the chance to climb above their opponents.
Vancouver remain bottom of the Western Conference standings after that draw against Dallas. LAFC have risen up 4 places to 5th, while Seattle, despite continuing their unbeaten start, have been replaced at the top by SKC.
New England lead the East by 3 points after Orlando and Philadelphia below them both lost. DC move into the playoff positions following their 7-1 win against Toronto, and it's the Canadians who are now the conference's bottom place club.
It was a week of firsts for the league's newest venues.
Suarez has the minor
the first for an MLS original, as DC United found themselves in 7th heaven.
What a surprise! What a goal!
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.